Hello students, good morning to all of you. So today we are going to study about the other different kind of networking devices known as switch. Okay, then repeaters we will see. Before I start with the switch, that is next topic, I would just like to remind you about the hub, right? So hub is nothing but it is a hardware device that is used to connect the several computers together over the network. I think in previous video we have already studied about this kind of image. So what is the job of the hub is, as soon as the packet arrives to the hub, okay, so hub, a copy of that packet will be distributed to all of the connected nodes irrespective of the destination. Now this is the source and this is the destination. Your packet has to come to the hub. Through the hub it has to go only to the destination. Instead of that, a copy of the packet will be given to all the connected workstation. Now this kind of arrangement, it is inefficient. So by this what happens, what exactly these other two source and this destinations are exchanging information, the other two computer systems will get to know what exactly they are having, exchanging the messages. Now this kind of arrangement, it is quite inefficient and it's not providing us any kind of security. So in order to overcome this kind of disadvantage in hub, we are studying about the switch. Okay, now let us see what exactly the switch is. A switch is a device that actually segments the network into different subnetworks called as the subnets or the LAN segment. Now here I can tell you, now this is a device, switch is a device, okay, that actually divides the large network into different networks, different subnetworks called as, now this I can call as a subnet and this I can also call as a subnet, or else I can call this as the LAN segments also. A switch is a device that actually segments the network. It acts as an intermediate device, okay, that divides the large network into different subnetworks, okay, or the LAN segments. And show you how exactly the switch looks like. Now this is a switch, okay, this is each switch, this is one switch, second, third, fourth, fifth. Now we are almost having 5 switches, so multiple switches we are having. Why we have to use this multiple switches is because they are often interconnected to create the large network. How I can create the large network is, now what is the capacity here? So almost 3, 4, 5, 10, almost this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. So on each 12 it is there, that means 48 ports are available. Now this is what is that, each one, what I have shown you, 5 are there, no, each one are having of 48 capacity, 48, and how many are there, 1 2 3 4 5, 48 into 5, those many connections I can make. Okay, see, in first switch almost all 48 ports are being used, that means 48 computers are connected. In second switch somewhere around 1 2 3 4 are being left, that means 44 connections are being made. Here somewhere around only 12 13 14 are there. Here almost many are unavailable. Now here is also, that means, so how many connections are being made, so many different computers are being connected to one network. Can you see that means it's a very large network. So usually switch comes on, basic switch comes with the 5 ports. Minimum capacity of each switch can have at least 5 ports. That means 5 different computer systems you can connect to. If I want to extend my network, you can connect from one switch to the another switch here, which is almost here, this one other switch is of 24. That means 24 plus 4 means one cable will be connecting to this. That means 4 you will get, 24 plus 4, that is 28. Okay, now this is a switch of 48. This is also another image to show you the how exactly the switch looks. Now these are nothing but ports. Same way hubs are also very much similar to the switch. The lookout, everything is same, but switches are quite intelligent and switches capacity are more. Whereas in case of hub was almost 2, 4 and 8. That was the capacity of the 2, 4, 8 ports only were available in case of the hub. Now because of that disadvantage, what the hub was actually forwarding the packet to all other, because of that nature we have we have completely replaced the hubs with the switches. Now why exactly we need this kind of dividing the large network into subnets into the LAN? Because in order to prevent the traffic overloading in the networks, that means segmenting the network into smaller subnets prevents the traffic overloading. However, what exactly this traffic overloading is, as I have shown this image, so many computer systems I can connect, right? So think around, this is 48, almost maybe around 70 to 80 computer systems I can connect in this. So 70 to 80 computer system means when they start communicating, exchanging the information, there is a possibility that the packets may collide with each other, or there may be a loss of data. So in order to avoid this traffic, we will divide the network. Now actually this is this is completely one large network. I'm using 5 different switches in order to connect this, in order to make this as one big LAN network or the LAN segments. So actually I have divided, that's why I am using 5 different switches. Why I am using 5 different? Because to maintain the traffic. Now how the switches with this and switches with this, how it is connecting? That means one cable from this switch is being given to one to this, and one cable to this, one cable to they, like this they are interconnected. That's how one big LAN network I can make. Okay, so multiple switches are often interconnected to create a large network. That means 5 different switches I have used in order to connect a large network. Now what are the advantages of switch over the hub is, actually the hub forwards the data to all the packets regardless whether the data is intended for the system connected to the port. This kind of arrangement is inefficient. Whereas rather than forwarding the data to all the connected ports, the switch will forward only to the port on which the destination system is connected. As I have already said, the packet will be forwarded by the switch only to the intended computer system. Here one more example I can show you here. So this is a source and this is the destination. As the packet arrives here, you can see the arrow. That means packet is made available to A, B, C and D. That means whatever the messages are exchanged between A and B can be visible to the C and D. Okay, so there is a security issues. Whereas in case of switch, what happens if A and B is communicating with each other? As the packet moves to the switch, the destination IP address will be examined by the switch and then it will be forwarded to the intended user or the intended computer only. Hence C and D will not be able to see what exactly they are communicating with each other. Now one more important thing, what exactly the switch does is, it is responsible for filtering. Now what exactly this filtering is, it will actually check the destination address of the packet and then decide from which outgoing port the packet should be sent. As I told, now when the source sends the packet to the switch performs the filtering. What is this filtering? It will examine the destination IP address on the packet and decides on which port it should be. Now these are 4. That means this switch is having 4 ports. What are ports? These are ports. What you can see, these are nothing but the ports. Like this, there are 4 ports onto the switch. Okay, when a packet will be sent to the switch will determine the destination IP address and decides where exactly the destination IP address is connected. It is connected on the second port and hence the data has been forwarded to the second port. Now this process, checking the destination address of the packet and then deciding from which outgoing port the data has to be forwarded, this process is nothing but the filtering, or you can say it is a transforming the data in a specific way, and forwarding packets between the LAN segments is also called as a filter. Now I can explain you this one with this. You can see here in this image, when the device, now this is a switch, almost 10 ports are there. These are nothing but the ports. Okay, now device A is acting as the source here. When device A sends out a frame or packet is the same. Okay, so to another device, its MAC address is updated in the switch lookup table. I told that switches are smarter, switches are more intelligent than the hub. Why it is intelligent? Because it is maintaining certain switch lookup table. Okay, So this is extra as an information I'm telling. Now as I'm telling that switch will identify how the it will identify the destination address and all I'm telling, but how exactly it is maintaining the destination addresses I'm explaining here. So as the packet, so this is acting as a source. Now as the source sends the packet to the switch will examine from which port I am actually getting the packet. It will examine, it will see from the second port I'm getting the packet. Then in its table it will register what is the IP address of this device A, 0260 12 34 and 56. It will note it down, and through which port it is connected, port 2. Okay, this is how it will recognize from which device I'm getting the answer. I'm getting the packet. Now what exactly the packet? I usually said the packet will consist of the destination address. It will also consider the source address plus the data what it is to be sent. Now this is nothing but the packet, or you can also call it as a frame. Why we are calling is frame is a terminology used in the data link layer. Packet is a terminology which is used in the network layer, but both are the same. Now and there are different B, C devices whose IP addresses are different. Now let us see the next slide here. Yeah, in this image, now A is acting as a source. Now device C is acting as a destination. Now look at your packet. What is the destination address? That is everything, right? The starting is everything is same. The next here two bits are, here the bits are changing, 12, 34 and 56. Can you see the device C? Destination 56, yeah, 1234, sorry, 0260. Now this one source address is acting as device C, and the destination address is device A is acting as a destination here. So source address is 476C, that is this one is the source, okay, and the destination is the device A. So as the packet moves to the switch right from the C, first it will note down this is the source 001047.6C. It is a source address to which port it is connected, 7th port. Similarly, when the packet reaches to the switch, what does the switch will do? It will check for the packet. It will see the destination address to where I have to drop this packet. Switch will start examining the first it may go to the 6th port, and it will examine the destination IP address. Doesn't match, it will not forward the data to this port 6. Instead, the packet will go to the next port for the 5th one. 5th is not connected, it's unavailable. It may go to the 4th is not connected. It may go to the 3rd, it is not available. So it may come to the 2nd. So there is one computer which is being connected at the 2nd port, and it will check for the destination IP address. Yes, here the destination IP address matches at which port? Port 2nd. It will mark in its table at port 2 there is a destination IP address. This one it will mark it. It will register into its table. Understood? That's once it is registered, then the packets will be immediately sent only to the port 2, and this is how only the source and the destination address will exchange the information, whereas the device B and device D will never come to know what exactly the source and destination are exchanging the information. Now what happens if the second time, think now device A is replying back. Okay, now when the device A sends the packet to the switch will not register, because already it's with that destination address from which port it is connected, already it has got to know. So it will accept the data, right? Yes, I'm getting the reply from the port 2 which is already been registered in my table. It will understand where it has to go, destination IP address. It will see whether that destination is there in my lookup table. It will check, yes, this is acting as a source for me, 56 is acting as source, 6C will acting as a destination. Then it will check for the 6C to which port it is connected, whether it is registered in my table. It will check, yes, it is already registered. To which port? 7. Directly it will forward to the 7th port. Understood? Suppose device A is sending a packet. Now this is source. Now device D is a new one, new destination is I have choose now. Device D, if it is a destination, then as the packet comes to the switch, okay, from the port 2, it has already been registered, it will identify. It will check the destination IP address on your packet, which is 85C 1A. Now this it will find it's a new destination address. Correct? So what it does, it will start searching again. Whether 3 is connected? No. 4 is connected to any system? No. 6? No. 6 it will come for. 6 is not registered in its table, hence it will check its IP address. Doesn't match, so it will not forward. 7th it will not check only, because 7th IP address is different, already it knows. It skips, goes to the 8th, it is not available. 9th, no. 10th, it will come to 10th and it will check its IP address. It matches. When it matches, first it will record its IP address in its table and then forward that table to the 10th. Like this, for the first time, whenever it is communicating, every time it will register. That means it will come to know at second, this is the IP address is there. At the 6th port, this is what IP address is there. At 7th port, this is what IP. At 10th. Once it knows at which port, which computer system is connected, obviously its communication will be very fast. Forwarding data will be very fast. It need not to examine if every time whenever it is transferring. That is why we say switches are more quite intelligent comparatively to the any other hubs. Okay, now if the LANs are segmented through the switches, then they are called as a switched LANs. That means if your LANs are being connected using switches, that means if your network, consider this is your network. If I'm in my network, if I'm using the switches in order to connect my LAN network, then I can call it as a switched LANs. If I am using the hub to connect my network, I cannot call it as a switched LANs. I hope you're understanding. If I'm using the switch to connect my network, I can call it as a switched LAN. And in case if I'm using the Ethernet cables, okay, or we know that these are all Ethernet. If we are using the Ethernet LAN cables in order to connect by using the switches, then we can also call it as a switched Ethernet LANs. In our computer lab, we are using the Ethernet cables and we are using the switches also. Okay, then that kind of a network I can call it as a switched Ethernet LANs. Okay, this was all about the switches. Now let us see as a short now how exactly the switches function. So to transfer the packets from one port to the another. Now actually we are transferring the data through these ports, right? You can see any communication happens, everything is through ports. If the switch know at what port which computer system is connected, obviously the communication will be very fast. So how exactly the switch functions, I'll tell you. To transfer the packets from one port to the another port, it actually established the temporary connection between the source and the destination. As first initially I said that C was the source and the D in this case, sorry, C was the source and D was the destination. You can see this arrow. A temporary connection will be established between these two computer systems. Okay, and after the temporary connection has been done, it will perform the filtering option. Filtering means it will identify the destination IP address and it will decide from which port the packet should be forwarded to the destination. And finally, once the conversation has been done, finally it will terminate the connection. Okay, so once the conversation is done, this is how exactly the switch works. So next device we are going to study about the repeaters. We have already studied about this repeaters in case of bus topology. I hope you people remember. So if I want to extend the bus topology, I need to add an extra segment in the sense the cable extra segment I need to add it. So if the source is at the first computer system and if the destination is at the 20th computer system in a single cable, okay, when two cables are being joined, if that means I can say it's a coaxial cable, two segments when they are being joined. So as the packet reaches to the 20th signal, the strength of that signal will be very much weakened. if the signal is weakened, obviously the capacity of that message will be degraded and that message becomes useless. Even though if it reaches to the destination, you will not be able to clearly hear the voice. I can give one telephone example also. Sometimes it so happens that you will be hearing the voice but not able to clearly hear the voice. That is all because of the voice signal strength will not be regenerated. The signal strength of that voice will be very much weakened. In that cases you experience that you'll not be able to clearly hear the voice signals. So so if I want to extend the data, I mean if my data has to move to the 20th node or the 20th computer system on bus topology, I need to have an extra networking device known as the repeater. As this the data packet pass through the repeater, it will regenerate the signal of that packet, and it will make sure that the packet has been reached to the destination as the original message it was being sent by the source computer. So for that reason we need the repeaters that we have studied in case of bus topology, as we have also studied in the microwaves also. There is unguided media. Whenever we need to transmit the data wirelessly by using the microwaves, okay, because microwaves propagation is very high for a very long distance. Whenever we want to transmit the data, then we are using the microwave links. Microwave antennas are the very high gain antennas, okay, but they have to follow the line of sight propagation. As there also the data is moving wirelessly, as it is, if it is a long distance, we need to have the frequently repeaters there so that the signal strength will be enhanced. So in all those cases we have already studied what exactly the repeaters is. So we will just see how exactly the repeaters work. So since the signal loses its strength as it passes along cable, it is often necessary you need to boost the signal with a device known as the repeater. You can see here the cable is around 200 meters of Ethernet cable. I hope Ethernet cable, everywhere we are discussing about the Ethernet cable, I have already shown you. So as source, when it sends the signal, it will be very much clean signals. As it is moving, it is being distorted, that means disturbed signal, weakened signal. Okay, suppose if I have a repeater in between, whatever the clean signal, original signal was there, same kind of signal will be given, handed over to the destination also. This repeater is a device that actually amplifies a signal that has been transmitted, and it will rebroadcast it onto the network. Now amplifying is nothing but amplify, I've already told, it will strengthen the signal. Amplifying means enhancing the signal strength, that is nothing but it will amplify. And what it is, rebroadcasting it onto the network. Rebroadcasting means broadcasting, in the sense making that packet or the data available to all the connected devices. Hub, what it does is it makes sure that it is broadcasting that packet to the all the connected device. That is the broadcasting, what exactly the hub does. So this repeater, what it will do, okay, it will accept the data from the source, okay, it will regenerate the signal and rebroadcast it, means retransmit the data to the destination. That is nothing but the rebroadcasting. Here you can see, now here is actually the source. This is one city, okay, here is one person, this is another city. Actually your data communication is happening between the city to the person who is in the other village, and the city to the another village here. So in between all you can see there are some mountains, hills and all, right? So here is the antenna. So when the signals are being started moving from the city, okay, it is if at all, if the microwave, if it is there, it has to follow the line of site of propagation, and it cannot penetrate through any of the walls. Now any of the hills or the mountains becomes an obstacles for them. So what happens, on very high height, okay, there we have placed a repeater. What this repeater is, it will immediately identify the incoming signals. It will automatically accept the data it will amplify, it will strengthen the signal strength, and it will rebroadcast. And when it rebroadcast, the frequency range will be so high that it will clearly, with a clean signal, it will reach to the destination. This is how exactly the repeaters work. And usually the repeaters are being used in the long distance network lines, which actually exceeds the maximum rated distance for the single run. That means usually we are using this repeater in where we are exceeding the maximum distance. Now actually maximum distance here actually was only 100 meters. Till 100 meters your clean signal will reach from source to the destination. I have added an extra segment here by making the distance of that cable as 200 meters, where after finishing the traveling of 100 meters your signal may start weaken. So in that case, whenever it exceeds the maximum rated distance for a single running single cable, if it is exceeding, then I have to make use of these repeaters. Okay. Over a long distance, the cables connecting a network may lose the signal transmitted. If the signal strength degrades, it may fail to reach to the destination, or even though if it reaches also, it makes the message useless as its strength is degraded. As I said, if this kind of signals, if you are receiving as a voice signals, obviously there will be a lot of disturbance, or sometimes your signal may pause, voice communication may pause, and you may say that I couldn't hear it properly, your voice was stopped, it was paused, I couldn't hear it, so say once again. So this is what you are experiencing because of the not using the repeaters. Okay, so therefore repeaters are installed all along the way to ensure that the data packets reach their destination without any kind of degradation. That is why no matter you use the radio waves, no matter you use the microwaves, or no matter whichever topologies you use, wherever LAN also you, whatever, sorry, not LAN, in case of WAN, whatever your topologies or whatever cables you are using, you have to make sure that you are using the device known as the repeater in order to maintain your signal strength. So different examples I can also say you. Here you can see these are two different cities. A barrier is a hill here. So at the very height I have to place an repeater here, antenna, which is in the form of antenna. So directly line of sight of propagation it may not follow, right? So if at all, if I'm using the microwaves, okay, it may not follow here the line of sight propagation. So what it does, as your signals start moving, this repeater will detect, because it is having the capacity of broadcasting. So it will detect the incoming signal, it will automatically will accept the data, it will regenerate, and it will start rebroadcasting those signals, and hence it may reach to the signal. You can say communication only possible by bouncing the signal through the repeater. Bouncing in the sense regenerating the signal. Okay, and here also you can see there are so many devices here. Okay, it might be the computer system, different computer system, it is a printer here. As your data has been passing through any of these computer system, the signal strength you can see very high it is, but as it is moving on the long distance, the strength of the signal is almost weakened. As it reaches the repeater, again the signal strength will be very high, and at the time when it reaches to the destination, the signal strength will be very good. So this is why we need the repeaters. Usually whenever we have a long distance run, whenever we have a long distance data to be passed on, then we have to make use of the repeaters. Now let us see the different types of repeaters. So we know the repeater job is to amplify the signal, okay, or to strengthen the signal strength. There are two types of repeaters. One is called as amplifier, the second one is the signal repeater. If I have a amplifier as a repeater here, okay, so it will amplify all the incoming signals as well as any concurrent noise if it is being generated. Okay, think this for an example. Okay, from here we are actually generating the signals. Okay, we are our clean signal we are generating, which has to reach to the, now this, let me take this as an amplifier, a type of a repeater. Okay, so if think that if any factory is there, if this factory is generating any noise signals or any kind of signals if it is generating, so those signals also may reach to this amplifier, and whatever we are sending the signals also may reach to this amplifier, amplifier not only amplifies the signal, it also concurrently amplifies the concurrent noise which is being generated from the other, because its nature is to broadcasting. So it will accept the both the noise as well as your clean signal. It will amplify and it will rebroadcast to the other end. This is the job of the amplifier, which is a type of a repeater. Same way, if we have the second type of repeater, that is a signal repeater. So signal repeater, what it does is it collects the inbound packet. Inbound packet means it collects the incoming packet and then retransmit the packet as if it was being sent from starting from the source station. So if at all, if I have a signal repeater here, if the C, now I can say this one as a signal repeater. Signal repeater will accept whatever the incoming packets are there, inbound packets. It will amplify in such a way that the outcome of those packet will, you feel that it was just I have received from the previous station. I've received just, you feel as though the workstation or the sender is just beside the destination. Such a strong the packet will be amplified by the signal amplifier. Simple amplifier, first type of repeater, also it will amplify, but comparatively to the amplifier, signal repeater, okay, signal repeater is very powerful, because after re-amplifying or after amplifying, after strengthening the signal strength, the quality of the strength signal will be very high if it in case of the signal repeater. Amplifier will not be able to distinguish between the noise and the original data. Whatever whatever signals it is capable of accepting, okay, whichever the frequency it falls into, this amplifier will accept the data, it will amplify and retransmit at the other end. So these are the two different types of repeaters. So we will meet in the next video with some other networking devices. Till that, take care. Bye.